Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Us, Kate. We haven't done one for a while because we've both just been so busy trying to help women eat real food. But you work with men too, so it's not, I shouldn't discriminate. Yeah. Help everyone eat real food.
Everybody.
And Kate, we were just discussing this before, and a lot of women that come into our program, and I think this is probably a big issue in the fitness industry, is like we'll get a 120 kilo woman who tracks her food for 3 days and she's like, oh, Kitty, I'm only eating 1,200 calories. I'm really scared to eat more food. And I'm like, well, if you were truly eating 1,200 calories a day, because obviously the fitness industry sets you up for failure and tells you that this is what you need to do, you would be small. You would be tiny. If we all ate 1,200 calories a day, which is not the right thing to do, because obviously you and I have both done it and you feel like shit and you're tired. Right. And but what it does do is actually set you up for binge eating, and that is what makes you gain the weight, and then you get stuck in this vicious cycle of restriction, binge, and a lot of women even purge. Like we've
nothing good becomes of this.
No, and I think too, like it's a real, like women feel really ashamed about it. Like I talk about it a lot in our program, in our Facebook group, because I'm like, look, it's a real thing and it's nothing to be ashamed of. You just need to eat more food, because if you consistently ate more, you wouldn't binge eat, and you wouldn't be binge eating on crap. Like you've done it yourself, haven't you? Back in the day.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And I was religious, and I would eat my 1,200 calories. I did it in college when I lost my period, and I was like 105 pounds. But I became like a little bit of a skinny fat, because I was also probably losing muscle tissue, and I was doing like 2 hours of cardio every day, which was super healthy for you in a 1,200 calorie diet. As to why I lost my period. But you can train your body to do certain things. And I was little. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't heavy at that point in time, but you can't sustain it. It's not sustainable, and it's certainly not going to give you enough energy and calories to have good health, So the 1,200 calorie myth, and what most women do, is they eat 1,200 calories, and because again they can't sustain it, they binge, because your body's craving energies and sugars and nutrition. It's going to finally tell you, and you're not all the willpower in the world isn't going to help you at this point in time, when it's finally like you have that little bit of a cake, and we've all done it. You finally go to that party, you're trying to you're like, nails are just grinding in. I'm like, I'm not going to have anything. And you have that one little thing, and you've eaten the whole pie, the whole carton of ice cream. I mean, nobody plans to do that. That just happens because your body is finally like, oh God, please, finally calories. And then you consume 2,000-3,000 calories in one night. We've all been there. We've done it, and you feel like complete crap shit. You're so guilty. You feel horrible the next day. Yeah. And some women, it leads to purge, because of the guilt and the shame. That's, and it comes all down to, how you identify with your body and how you feel about your body. And it's this vicious cycle, and because the thing is, when you consume 1,200 calories, your body will adapt to that much energy coming in. So with that, like with me, when I did it, some metabolic processes stop working. Things like my period, like saying, nope, don't have energy for that. We'll just stop that right now. You can't procreate, right? So not that I was going to at 22, but point being is certain things stop working. Digestion, some people's hair falls out, your skin changes, your energy tanks, you're cold. I was freezing all the time on a 1,200 calorie diet. I mean, and those things are going to start happening. And, and then when, like, you can't go from consuming 1,200 calories to 2,500 calories in a week and think you're not going to gain weight. Your body isn't prepared or adapted to that increase in calories. Doesn't mean you don't need it, because you probably do, but you do need to make that slow progress increase in calories, so you don't put on a massive amount of weight in that process. You always need to meet your body where it's at. So if you're at 1,200 calories, and I don't, how you do it, it's like eat the right foods initially at 1,200 calories, and then slowly start adding in more and more and more and more. And then eventually you'll get to that 25 or whatever it is, and you'll be able to start losing weight, eating twice as much food.
And I think it's and Bo's got a client actually at the moment. I think she's 160 kilos. And he's been
for the Americans, just so you know, that's like 275 pounds, right? Because we all deal with pounds here over in the States.
Yeah.
So look what kilos. Go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. But she's really, really big. And I remember her coming into the gym one day And I was just chatting to her and just asking her how her training was going. And she was saying, oh, you know, I've been to all the doctors and they've like put me on 1,200 calories and it's not working. I'm like, yeah, but it's not the 1,200 calories that's working. It's because you binge eat on the weekend, don't you? And she said nothing. And then she's like, yeah, I do, Kitty. I eat KFC because I can't sustain it. And it's like, you're setting yourself up for failure. So Bo's been working with her for a while now and she's down 30 kilos. And
Awesome.
she's eating like 2,000 calories a day. It's just strength training 3 days a week, gradually getting stronger, learning how to lift. And she stopped binge eating. She stopped binge eating because she's actually eating real food and she feels satisfied. And, you know, I remember the days my favorite was Jersey caramels. These like, there's this supermarket here called Woolworths and they have this home brand line of lollies. And so they're just crap. They're like glucose syrup. I would eat like 2 packets, 2 large Domino's pizzas, corn chips. I used to love corn chips. So I reckon I'd probably consume 10,000 calories in one sitting, just about. Like I would eat till I felt sick.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Mm.
Yeah, and because when you get to that binging state, like you don't even pay attention to any of the things that tell you you're full because your blood sugar at that point is so dysregulated. Your blood sugar is just spiked up and back down. And so you continue to eat even when it's like you're so sick feeling. I mean, you know, and like I said, any woman, especially in the fitness industry, I mean, I hate to say it, but we're all the worst. You know, we've been brought up in a world that creates, you know, demands upon especially women that are not sustainable with this kind of approach with, you know, work out like crazy and eat 12 to 1,400 calories. It just isn't sustainable. But could you go through a fitness competition with those? Of course you can. But if you do that repeatedly, you know, I mean, you've done some serious metabolic damage to your body to the point that now even eating at those calories, you know, you can't lose weight because you put your body in such a state of adaptation to that lower energy level. And, you know, your body will always adapt to whatever stressors you put upon it, good and bad. Weight training is a good stress. It'll adapt by increasing your muscle mass, you know, increasing your metabolic rate. Starvation or low deficit of calories or removing sugars, all of those are going to adapt in a negative way. And, you know, it might not initially adapt horribly in the beginning because you might lose weight. And so everyone thinks that's a good thing. But because the way you're doing it, you're going to adapt and start having negative repercussions down the road. So, and I know you see it and I see it all the time when people finally come in like, I have been avoiding sugars, I've been on a ketogenic diet, and now I'm really starting to see the repercussions.
I think too, you know, like, and I don't know if this is a story you used to tell yourself, but I would always be, okay, I'm just going to have this massive binge and then this is it. This will be the last time that I ever binge again. And I just eat everything because I was like, okay, I can never have this food again. And then I would start a fresh Monday and I would get back on the 1,200 calories with the green vegetables and the nuts and seeds. And I'd be really good all week. And then I'd get to Friday night and I'd cave. And that cycle would just repeat itself week in, week out, week in, week out. And we see it with women in the program, you know, like I'll always look at their weight and just be, if they say that they're eating 1,500, I'm like, you 1,800. Like if you're, you know, above 70 kilos, like you need to be eating more food and it works every time. Like they feel better, they sleep better, they stop binge eating. Slowly their weight or their body will change, especially if they start to strength train, you know, if their metabolism's not really damaged.
Right.
So yeah, it's just, I think women are just so afraid of eating more food. Like I tell, yeah.
Yeah, well, we all have those stories, and there, you know, and there are you have a lot of shame around. I mean, in my 20s, I mean, I used to work and run fitness centers, you know, but you know, sometimes when, you know, you've gone, like you said, 5 or 6 days by eating that 1,200 calories, but that 6 days, I'm like at the grocery store buying like ice cream bars and thinking, I'll just have one of these, right? And on the way home, I'm like, I've eaten 1 or 2 on the way home. By the time I get home, I'm like, I'm still thinking about those ice cream bars. And yeah, by the end of that night, that box is gone. I've eaten all of them, right? And then you feel so bad, and you repeat. It's that cycle, and then you're like, why am I losing any weight, right? Well, you just set yourself up for failure. Yeah. You're avoiding sugars, and you're eating shit when you finally eat it with no nutritional value on top of that. So it's a horrible bad cycle. That so many, I mean, we actually have a disorder now, like the binge eating disorder here. You see commercials on it, you know, and I'm sure they can put people on all sorts of medications because now it's marked as a disorder, where I'm just like, what the fucking disorder?
It's ridiculous.
But that's because sugar is so anti-sugar climate here, and I'm sure it is there too, that we've created a disorder because we are not eating properly. We're being put on these 1,200 medical diets. We're
Mm.
avoiding the sugars that we need to run our system. And now we've created a disorder based on what we've been doing. And then we're medicating these people. So
Mm.
what is seriously wrong with that scenario? I'm like, just eat throughout the day. And I get it, because I mean, and I know, like you, and you know, initially you're just like petrified to eat this way, especially because you've been doing something for so long. And you know, it's so ingrained, especially in fitness professionals, because at some point it does work. You know, eating 1,200 calories does help you lose weight.
Mm.
But the whole thought that you can actually eat more and still be at a good weight, and then the thought that you're actually not going to crave sugars, like that was like an amazing process for me. The fact that I don't crave those things anymore for 8 years now, I don't even think about it, worry about it. You don't binge eating this way because you never go through that cycle, that blood sugar craziness. It just doesn't happen. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to put any energy into it. It just doesn't happen anymore.
Because and a lot of women say this in our program. When I speak to them, you know, I'll interview them, and they're just like, I feel free. Like I'm finally free from food. It's control. Like it would just, you know, control you because you just think about it. But of course you're going to think about it all the time because you're not giving your body what it needs. And I think too, it's like we get a lot of women who come in and they'll track their food and we'll look at what they're eating, and they're eating way too much fat, not enough protein. You know, like they just need to balance out their macros better, eat a bit more, you know, put some orange juice. And it's just like when you can eat ice cream every night and custard and potatoes and butter, like people say to me that because I eat pretty similar-ish foods every week because I'm pretty routine. They're like, don't you get bored, Kit? I'm like, not really. Like, because I can't think of anything nicer than potatoes with salt and butter and ice cream and custard. And, you know, I just never get sick of it because it's so yummy. Like simple, tasty. Not to say that you can't make, you know, more complex recipes. It's just each to their own. But, you know, you don't think about it.
Yeah, but there's no right or wrong way. I mean, you can be more diverse. You can add, I mean, and the thing is, I mean, once you start feeling better and eating better, you can have those little cheat things whenever you want. I mean, not whenever, but here and there. You're not going to want them all the time, and you're not going to have the ramifications like you did before. If you're on a 1,200 calorie diet and you go out and splurge, you know, you get on the scale the next day, which we would all do, and you gain 5 pounds. Now you're not really gaining 5 pounds of fat, but all the water retention because you just went from a carb depleted state to now being, you know, you're just consumed all those carbohydrates and you're going to hold a bunch of water, but you just don't have that anymore, you know? And so, what always amazes me is, and I don't, you know, when I used to go on vacation, when I used to eat my 1,200 calories, and I would gain 5 pounds in a week.
Same.
Right. Now, when you go on a vacation, and I have with clients all the time, they're like, Kate, I didn't do anything and I just ate whatever I wanted and I lost 4 pounds. And I'm like,
I know.
yeah, right? I mean, because you removed all the stress for one, but because now your body is utilizing energy better, it's just so happier when you're consuming real food all the time versus going there and freaking out because you can't control your food, you can't exercise, you can't do all these things. And now you're just living and freeing and enjoying your time. It frees them from that psychotic feeling of, you know, I have to control my food and I have to exercise all the time. And you just don't have to do that anymore, which life shouldn't be about that, right? It shouldn't be.
Yeah. I think too, you know, like I remember when I used to go on holidays, because it was always about, here's the diet that I do. Here are the things that aren't allowed in the diet. And I'm always low calorie. So I go on holidays and I eat all of the shit and I drink all of the alcohol. Whereas now, you know, you talk about having, like women talk about cheat meals, and it's like, I now view food is, how is this going to make me feel? You know, like I love sourdough bread, but if I have more than a slice a day, I just don't feel optimized. Like I feel a bit bloated, but one slice is good, of good quality. So I'll just stick to one slice. You know, but I don't feel like I need to eat a whole loaf because I eat enough carbs and eat enough sugar, you know, and it's no longer about, is this food good or bad? It's about, how is it going to make me feel? Like I don't want to eat shit food anymore because I don't want to sleep like shit. I don't want to wake, like if I was to go out now and eat, like, because I used to love Nando's, like the chips, like they're cooked in the vegetable oil. And I'd eat that. If I ate that now, I would feel depressed the next day, as in physically, like I would be bloated, I would be gassy, my sleep would be crap, and I'd feel terrible. And it's like, you can just make air fried chips with coconut oil. You can still eat the same stuff, but just choose the options that's going to work better for your body and make you feel better, I think. And, you know, like once you start eating like this and you feel so happy. Like,
well, and I think you focus on different things. You know, I mean, part of eating this way is getting more back in touch with your body again. right? It's actually because I think so many people are living in this unconscious state constantly. And they're just like, and that's why so many people are like, can you just write me out an eating plan? I'm like, no. I go, because I mean, we need to start where you're at and we need to adjust it. And I need you to be more aware of what you're doing and how you feel. That's why we're taking temperature and pulse. Because if I just blindly give you something and you're, again, just going unconscious through the day and just eating this, it's just, that's not the point. The point is to get back into your body so that you can make the choices like you say, like, how does that going to make me feel? Because then once you're aware of how things make you feel, then you make better choices versus I just have to eat this and this and this, and I'm like, no, because I don't even know if that's going to work for you. It might not, you might not be able to handle these foods. And, or if so, we got to try. And then how do you feel? Right? What's your temper pulse doing? Like that part is very, very important. Anytime you want to make a change in your life, you got to make it more conscious. You can't just start doing everything conscious and here's, and have someone write things up for you and not pay attention to where you're at, because you're not going to change it in a lasting way. It's just going to be just kind of there. And then as soon as you, because if you don't consciously feel it and understand what you're supposed to be feeling and doing, you're just going to go right back to your old ways, because you're not aware of what's happening. So in a 1,200 calorie diet, and that's what it is. And that's what people like it. It's like, this is what I'm supposed to eat. 1,200 calories. I'm just going to follow it. And I'm totally unconscious and I'm just going to do it. And then if I lose weight, I'm going to be happy. But that never happens.
I know. It's like,
it kind of does. Yeah. You're never happy. You're starving.
Yeah.
And
you rebound.
But even if you get to your actual weight, which most don't, they're always like 5 pounds away. But even if you get there, you're so neurotic and so crazy by that time, and your sleep's probably crappy and you're just kind of edgy, and you're just psycho about going out because you're worried that you're going to eat something. So half the time you don't even go out anymore. I mean, there's so many things I did. I was just like, oh my God, it's so insane. And I know so many other women that do that, and it's completely crazy. And you don't have to, and you can go out and you can eat the foods. And when you shift your body and let it adapt to a better way of eating and get all that shit, like, all that vegetable oils and all the nuts and seeds and grains and so forth, it just works, and
yeah. I think too, like women need to invest in their education, like we'll have women that, because we'll talk to them on the phone before we enroll them in our program to see if they're a good fit. And they're like, are you going to give me a meal plan? We're like, nah, you have to and they struggle at the start because it's hard. Like, we say we've got a coach who holds their hands and helps them, checks their plans. But everyone who does the work in our program, by the end of the 12 weeks, we don't have to check their meal plans anymore. They know how to adjust their calories. They know what foods work for them. They know how to understand and listen to their body, because it's like, you've just got to put that time in. You've got to invest in yourself, invest in education and learn, and then you'll be free. And what I say to women, it's 12 weeks, to learn. And yeah, it's hard, but the payoff is just so great. And, you won't ever have to rely on anyone else to tell you what to eat again.
Well, and anytime you make a change, it is hard in the beginning because it's different. It's complete. This is going to be different, and you're gonna be worried, and you're gonna think that you don't know stuff. And totally, I'm like, you're starting a whole new process, just like learning a new language. It's hard in the beginning, but once you invest in it every single day and you do it in the beginning, then you can start speaking that language, and then it's not hard. Right? But you got to put in that time and the effort in the beginning. You have to do it, and everyone can choose to go at their own pace. Some people, like we talked about before, it's not their deal. They're not ready, and that's okay. Maybe they'll come back and maybe they won't. But ultimately, if you put the time and effort in and stop making yourself crazy, over analyzing everything, and just listen and learn this way, you will get results.
Totally.
100%.
Yeah. And it's got to be the long haul. I had a conversation with her because we do group coaching calls every fortnight, and she's like most women, 37, done a lot of diets, really estrogen dominant, has no real muscle at all, just learning how to lift. And, she was really good though, but she's like, Kitty, I was feeling really disheartened because I'm 7 weeks in and I'm not seeing the results physically that I want to see. And I'm like, we'll get used to it. I'm like, you got a lot of healing to do. I'm like, you've got to improve your sleep. You've got to get your hormones back in balance. You need to eat more. Cause she's like, I'm just waking up at night, but she just won't eat more food. I'm like, you got to eat more. I was like, you have to. I'm telling you now, if you want to fix your problems, and you got to get off the scales every day, because that's just a short term. And you've just got to, I said, somehow you've got to, and she goes, yeah, no, you're right. She's like, and I know there's no other option, because I know that all the other diets don't work and I've done everything and it always ends in the same way. So I think sometimes you've just got to go 12 months. You're going to give it at least 12 months and be consistent. And I guarantee if someone does this for 12 months and be consistent, it's like, you'll be happy. You'll get results. It's just, you can't expect to get there in 12 weeks. Like, it's never going to happen. All these programs that sell you 12 weeks to the body of your dreams, it's bullshit.
Well, you might look the way you want, but it's not going to be sustainable. And, this is like for you to heal, right? Not just to lose weight, right? I can get anyone to lose weight, right? Stop eating. You can lose weight.
Yeah.
Right? Get the flu. You can lose weight. There's a lot of different ways to lose weight. A lot of them are really unhealthy. However, if you want to heal, you have to eat, and you have to eat food that has nutrition, period. You have to add. And I have clients who do this, and they're like, and because they'll gain a little weight, and they're like, I don't want to eat any more 1,500 calories. I'm like, you have to.
Yeah.
I go, you have to eat more. They're like, but I'm like, you have to eat. I don't know how else to put it. If you want to heal, you have to eat more. And you can add it in slowly, and we can go slow as you want, but you have to eat more food. And you need to get up 1,800, 2,000 plus calories to heal. You have to heal first.
Yeah.
That's going to take time, especially if you've been eating shit, for years and eating nothing and overtraining and stressing the crap. And you still might have a lot of those stressors in your life still to this day. Right. And that's why people that are severely stressed, I'm like, you need to stop working out. Your body can't handle it. We have to get you to heal. And I've worked with women and they're so freaked out, especially in the fitness industry. I'm like, just don't work out. And they will say, Kate, I can't believe I'm starting to lose weight. I haven't been losing weight in 12 months and I'm not working out and I'm eating more calories. I'm like, okay, so what the hell does that say to you? What does that say to you? Your body was too freaked out and stressed out to do it. You got to let it get into a place where it's going to want to lose weight. It holds on. When it doesn't feel safe, it will not release that weight. Only in a stressed place will it will. But you get your body into a safe place and it finally feels like it's running better, then it'll start to lose weight for you, and easily and freely.
I think too, because we'll have, and again, like I always say to women, there is no right or wrong here, but you will get the results. You will get the amount of result for the effort that you put in. So it's like, we don't tell you that you need to be 100%, but if you are not consistent, but then you're going, why don't I get quicker results? Well, that's the reason why. So I think you need to remember, like, life isn't going to be perfect. You have kids, you have a job, you have stress in your life, shit happens, you're going to fail forward. But it's like, also you need to be realistic about what you can achieve in a certain amount of time. And if you do want quicker results, be 100%. Like, and I see the women who come in and, there's some people who are just like, they're like, they're OCD. They're like, you tell them to do something and they do everything to the letter. They get quicker results.
Sure.
But that's just life. It's like, you've just got to be realistic and don't compare yourself to someone else. And I think don't lie to yourself. Like, take ownership and responsibility for where you're at. Because we're never going to sit there and say to you, well, you've been bad and you should have done this. But we'll also go, well, you haven't been 100%. So you need to own that. And you just need to keep moving forward, and you need to be realistic about the time frame that you can achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve in, and just keep going.
It is like anything you do in life, what you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. And this is a new process for anyone. Like, what we teach people is not something that the rest of the world is going to tell them to do. It's a completely separate and different philosophy. So it does take a little bit of time for you to wrap your head around it and to make those adjustments. But once people do, and once you do and start going with it, you will see significant results, but you're just also going to feel so much better. And all that craziness is going to go away that you've been having for the last 20 plus years. You're like, wow. And I know you see it, and I do too. It's like, I don't think about these things anymore. I feel, as you said, more free, because I just aren't crazy craving and being like a psycho all the time about my food and exercise, right? 1,200 calorie diet never, ever work. I know one person that probably still eats one, and like I said, she's like 92 pounds, and that is, it's probably
she must feel like crap.
So,
yeah.
Well, I think her metabolic is she's such a small person. And so, literally such a teeny little person, but quite honestly, it consumes her, and I see it consumes her, and, but that's how she chooses to live. We all have our choices, but if you don't want your food to consume you, if you don't want to be starving all the time, if you want to feel better and have more energy and sleep better and actually still be able to eat everything, then this is the best route to go. Plain and simple,
And it's for life. Like, I think you've got to get it. Like I say to, we'll get on the calls and we'll talk to them about alcohol. Like, we should do a thing on alcohol. But I'm like, you're not getting results because you keep drinking piss. I'm like, you need to look at the person you are now, and that person needs to change. Because show me any person who is in great shape, that feels amazing, that sinks piss every weekend. It doesn't happen. So you've got to decide. Like, you have to, every now and then you can drink, I think, and if your body can handle it. I mean, I don't hardly drink now at all. Even when I do, I'll have like 2 glasses of wine, but even then I'm just like, oh, I don't even enjoy it anymore, to be honest. Like, I used to just get absolutely shit-faced. But it's like, you've got to go look at the woman that you want to become. Like, what are the habits, the rituals? What do they do every day? And it's like, the person you are now isn't going to get you there. And it's like, you've got to go, like this one lady, she was like, yeah, Kitty, it was so funny. I was drinking, she goes, because we all have these things. We're like, okay, come on, let's just do 1 week at a time with no alcohol. And they'll do a week and then they'll do another week. She goes, I've done 2 weeks. And I'm like, how much are you drinking? 6 beers and 2 glasses of wine a night. And then every night. And then on the weekend more. And she's like, I said, are you feeling heaps better? She's like, I feel so much better. I think you got to ask yourself too, like, and this is quite confronting for some of the women in our program. I was like, because I've been there. It's like, I've been where you've been, and I was drinking for a reason. I'm like, you need to dig deep and face the pain. Like, it's shit, but you got to do it, because if you really want to change and get better, then you have to face that pain and work through it and work out why you self-medicating all the time. And it's going to be hard. But that's another topic for another time. We should do alcohol next, I reckon.
Sure.
It's a good one.
Because I've been down that path too. I mean, I've done everything and anything in the world, so I know that. And it was a good time, and I certainly enjoyed it. But
me too.
It's not right. I wouldn't take it back. But again, not a life you can sustain. And not one that you want to live on a continual basis. Not now. I mean, I want to be present in my life, and that stuff doesn't ever make you present. You're like in another planet, So that was fun. But again, for you to shift and change for the better, you got to be more conscious. You got to be present in your thought. Can't live on 1,200 calories, ladies.
So stop it right now.
I mean, you can choose to. I mean, but we all have choices, but there is a way better way. And and I think. Thank God that, we all found this, for 8 years I've been doing it. And it's like, I don't even know, I can't remember the time when I sat there and was like crazy and would come home and feel like I needed to raid my refrigerator, because that's what I would do sometimes, and I never, ever happens anymore. Never.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. So.
Oh, I know. So good. Well, thank you so much. I know that you have to go and I have to go.
Always a pleasure.
But that was awesome. And I will catch up with you next week, and perhaps we can talk about alcohol.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, cool. Have a great week. Cool. I'll talk to you next week. Bye.
Yeah,
Bye.